If you hear the word Gothic, and eyeliner and despair aren't the first thing that come to mind, but rather a cult classic RPG game, that means you're probably European, and know the studio Piranha Bytes. We just got a chance to visit them and take a look at the upcoming Elex. Let's see how the game is shaping up, shall we? Elex is something of a fresh start for the studio, with a new universe, but with the similar ideas as seen in the studio's Gothic and Risen series. The game is an interesting mix of post-apo, science fiction, and fantasy. All of those are bound together by the titular element, Elex. In the game world, it was Elex that destroyed the planet when it came crashing down from the skies with a meteorite. Decades later, people have rebuilt, but Elex became a matter of dispute, which sparked conflict we will witness in the game. In Elex, we'll simultaneously come across dinosaurs, magic users, and even mechs. The traditional fraction system, as seen in previous games from Piranha, is represented here by different ideologies tied to Elex. Our enemy is the Alp faction, a military group which, by using Elex, sacrifices humanity and is now terrorizing others. Facing the Alps, we'll be able to join several groups, such as for example the nature-loving berserkers, who despise technology. Instead, they use Elex to convert it to mana, thus being able to use magic. Apart from berserkers, we'll also come across clerics, who are more in between. They do not consume Elex, but are okay with technology, and use the dangerous element to create plasma rifles and machines. The last group are bandits, which one would call outsiders to the Elex-related conflict, as they look more like characters from the Mad Max series, equipped with flamethrowers, and just like the Alps, taking advantage of the Elex consumption. What's more, we won't have to pick a group to join until at least 10 hours into the game, as the initial stages will focus on introducing us to the groups. The game will take a few dozen hours to complete and offer alternative endings, and those won't just end in a cutscene, as our choices and the consequences of the path we took will be visible in the endgame. Piranha's games were a bit claustrophobic at times. This time around, however, the studio wants to do something different, with a vast and varied open world, which will be explored both vertically and horizontally, with as few invisible walls as possible, the developers claim. Exploration will hugely benefit from an addition of a possibly upgradable jetpack, but its use will be quite limited. The developers want it to be helpful, but not too much, and things like caves, for example, will still have to be explored by foot. However, we'll really need the jetpack, as the game world is promised to be even bigger than the one seen in the largest Piranha game to date, Gothic 3. Although our preview started in a rather typical forest location, Elex will also feature swamps, a desert where bandits dwell, or even snowy locations. When it comes to the world, we also know that we won't come across something known as level scaling. If we by chance bumped into a strong enemy early in the game, we'll get a beating. We also know that there won't be any additional loading screens once we start the game. Unlike Risen and Gothic, Elex will rely more heavily on environmental narration, with more audio logs, notes, and letters. What makes Elex stand out among other Piranha games is the fact that the game won't feature a nameless hero without the past. Our protagonist is a former Alp general who was betrayed by his own kin and crash-landed near a berserker base. While being hospitalized and being a hostage, our hero experienced an Elex withdrawal and thus regained some of his humanity. How we use our second chance at life is up to us. What captures my attention is how Piranha discards the traditional good versus evil morality. It's more a conflict of ideas, emotion versus logic, nature versus science, and so on, and I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. That, along with some absurd quests and a joke every once in a while, just like in a Piranha Bytes game. Like in a typical RPG, we'll traverse the land, undertake quests, create items, and rise through the ranks of our chosen faction. By helping the groups in the game, we'll be able to find characters who will teach us new things, or even hire an ally. Piranha promises that the quests and characters will be interconnected, and just like in Gothic, we'll be able to kill an NPC, with only a handful of those being immortal for story reasons. And speaking of murder and bad things, if we break law or carry arms in the open, a bounty will be placed on our head, and until we pay, we won't be welcome in a city or a base. The last element I want to focus on is the combat system. Due to the unique mix of themes, we'll be able to fight with the use of swords, plasma rifles, spells, flamethrowers, while also wearing a futuristic Elex-infused armor. Our enemies will be varied accordingly, ranging from monsters, huge lizards, mutants, to humans with rifles and mechs. While we'll be able to face a mech or two, sadly, we won't be able to pilot one. The combat won't vary much from what we've seen already in, for example, Risen, but there's a catch. as we'll have to keep in mind not only the endurance bar, but also a new combo bar, which fills up with consecutive blows, and allows us to unleash a powerful attack every once in a while, and keep in mind, enemies will be able to do so as well. However, there's still much to improve when it comes to game's quality, with some animation issues and stiff controls, so let's give Piranha a benefit of a doubt, shall we? To sum up, it's pretty obvious that Gothic's legacy lives on in Elex, and if the studio keeps its promises, fans of the cult classic RPG won't be disappointed. Sure, Piranha's games aren't that polished and don't have a budget of a full AAA title, but they make up for it with interesting characters and fun stories, and it seems as if Elex will deliver in that aspect. Let's just hope that the final product is as addictive as the Elex itself.